NMH at 1 highlights the news making waves ranging from current affairs to community stories, sports and economic news. Here are the headlines for this afternoon's broadcast. Chinese companies involved in lithium controversy operate within perimeters of Namibian laws. This is according to their ambassador. Meatco's management to meet with producers about outstanding payments amongst other issues, and state intern doctors win overtime battle. I am Ashwin Berry. Do follow all our programs on oneup2.com, DSTV 285 and GoTV 25 in Namibia. Midday news update up next. Now, Meatco's management as well as the board directors today are meeting producers in order to discuss several topics. This is including outstanding payments to producers and interest to be instated by producers against Meatco for late payments. Meatco banned media practitioners from attending the meeting, despite producers inviting the media to be present. Visual News highlights local stories from across Namibia right after the break.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraifa. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
The Chinese ambassador to Namibia, Zhao Weiping, said the Chinese companies involved in the lithium controversy have informed his office that they are operating within the parameters of Namibian laws. He also said that plans are underway by these companies to set up a lithium processing plant. Jemima Bierkus reports.
Yeah, actually, we also approach them to check with them what's going on. And as I said, I cannot comment on the details of their relationship with your government, and but they said they are abiding by the laws here, and maybe some in their engagement with various stakeholders here, maybe they should improve their communication. But they tell us, they are not doing those wrong things. And it's also, I also heard that they are going to establish a processing. Yeah. So they are currently constructing processing facility here. Yeah. So possibly, even, but of course you can check with the company itself. One that facility will be put into operation. Yeah. So I think it's very clear they will do some processing of the lithium ores before exporting to other countries. I cannot say now. That there will be a tangible progress to report to the media. But I want to what I want to say is that Chinese company, they do have real interests in participating in your green hydrogen project.
Stay with us as Namibian Sun leads us into the newspaper review after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouthwatering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Now, a series of widely publicized scandals, including allegations of a fatal love affair, prompted the sacking of Ohangwena Governor Valde Ndevashia yesterday, cabinet insiders told Namibian Sun, while officials close to President Hage Geingob yesterday poured cold water over assertions that Ndevashia was fired over an alleged love triangle that led to the death of a woman in October. Others insist this was actually the last straw for the head of state. Officials in the executive told Namibian Sun that Ndevashia, who has been replaced by former National Police Chief Sebastian Deitunga, did not perform to the satisfaction of Geingob, who, in a shocking development yesterday, relieved the former Enana CEO of his duties as governor. Now, he was not reassigned to any new position in government. Moving over to page 2, Oshana Regional Police Commander Commissioner Naftal Lungameni Sakaria was beaming on Tuesday when two brothers donated car repair materials to help the police fight crime this festive season. Now, Shiti Shombe Matthias Johannes handed over the equipment, which will cater for the repair of about 5 cars that have minor damage and are overdue for a service, alongside his brother, who preferred not to be named. Now, the former People's Liberation Army of Namibia's combatant said Namibians should meet government halfway and offer assistance where they can. Republican reports that state witnesses in Ernst Lichtenstrasser's trial yesterday all shed light on the murdered Namibian Institute for Mining Technologies director Eckhart Muller and his deputy Heimo Helvig's tremendous and often selfless contributions to quality education in Namibia. This was after Lichtenstrasser was found guilty of both murders. Moving over to the second page of Republican, the Office of the Labor Commissioner yesterday found that government medical intern doctors working for the state are entitled to overtime payment as per the country's Labor Act. Over 100 intern doctors represented by Henry Shimutukeni and co. dragged their employer to the labor court to demand that they be paid overtime. Opposing the demand, the state argued that technically it does not have employment contracts with the interns and thus it is not obliged to make such a payment. Now, in a letter to government attorney Mati Asino yesterday, following the judgment, Shimutukeni explained that his clients are entitled to overtime payment for all hours worked more than the working hours prescribed by the Labor Act. Now, we move over to Allgemeine Zeitung, where the story is about the Electricity Regulatory Authority wanting to introduce a regional electricity distributor in Windhoek. The municipal administration is vehemently opposed and criticized the RED model as a failed project that does not serve the common good. Now, since the beginning of independence, we're on page 2, the government's resettlement program has not been an extremely successful project. 3 categories are now specified and beneficiaries are also to be given opportunity to run game farms. No upper age limit for applications has been set. Stay with us as we continue with the newspaper review, starting with the Namibian after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
The Namibian reports that Margarita Ihemba was left homeless at Rundu's Kehemu settlement yesterday after being evicted from her home of 50 years. Now, Ihemba was served an eviction order from the High Court in April 2021 when a family friend who was allowed to stay at the plot allegedly sold it secretly in 2009. However, neither Ihemba nor her daughter, Maria Sikaongo, and her grandchildren vacated the homestead until yesterday, when officers from the Office of the Deputy Sheriff came to dismantle their shacks. That's on the front page of the Namibian. On page 3, amid public criticism of exorbitant fees and charges leading to alleged excessive profits for commercial banks, the Bank of Namibia maintains there is no inherent problem with banks generating profit. Central Bank Governor Johannes Kawahaba, while addressing a parliamentary standing committee on the matter yesterday, said banks should be allowed to make profit just like any business entity. We move over to New Era, where the newspaper reports that the chairperson of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Economics and Public Administration, Natangwe Itete, yesterday blasted commercial banks for what he called mafia tactics. He accused the banks of making massive profits at the expense of ordinary Namibians. Because of antiquated regulations, there is still a significant disparity between black and white people after 33 years of independence. Interest rate discrimination is practiced by commercial banks. Black individuals are a bigger source of profit for banks than white people. Interest rates are lower for white people than they are for black people. Stop generating wealth at the expense of certain individuals. Commercial banks are engaging in mafia-style methods, said Itete. We move over to New Era's page 3, where Education Minister Anna Nyepondoka said one of the biggest hurdles in the sector right now is schools not operating on an academic cycle and reserving funds for needs at the beginning of the academic year. Hence, they face challenges at the beginning of the academic year due to depleted funds before the financial year comes to an end in March. Some schools do not give financial accountability reports to parents, but instead choose to continue to demand contributions from parents without reports as to what government gave and what it was used for. Now, this was stated by Nyepondoka during a cabinet briefing yesterday. We move over to Market Watch, where the mining sector, particularly the diamond mining subsector, is expected to continue supporting growth in 2023, albeit lower than when compared to a strong performance in 2022. Philippa Susiku, the composite mining production index for September, expanded 6.1%. According to him, compared to an increase of 0.2% posted in August. Those stats are according to the Namibia Statistics Agency. Stay with us as we dive into Tourism Minister Pohamba Shifeta's direction to own Namibian conservancies after the break.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Now, Tourism Minister Pohamba Shifeta has directed all Namibian conservancies to provide him with an annual report regarding the concessions that they currently hold. Now, he specified that this report should include details on the funds received from operators for concessions and a benefit distribution plan approved by the Conservancy's annual general meeting. I have directed that at least 50% of income generated must be directed at projects in the community and benefit them. These projects must be approved by the AGM. Shifeta emphasized that he will not sign any concession agreements until he receives these reports. Additionally, he highlighted the significant tourism opportunities in rural areas which can contribute to poverty eradication. Shifeta stressed that concessions granted by the ministry should have meaningful impact on poverty alleviation. He said the ministry should develop a valuation of natural capital which can be presented to investors. Yes, you bring 100 million Namibian dollars, but when we quantify this, what this community has in terms of natural capital valuation is actually close to 1 billion Namibian dollars. The minister said sometimes this is not taken into account. Stay with us as we head into the indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 18.21 next to the US dollar, with 19.74 Namibian dollars getting you €1, 22.53 gets you a British pound. Capricorn Investment Group First Strand Namibia Limited managed some upticks, Capricorn having the most significant uptick. However, MTC surprisingly in the red with a minus 11.20%. Trustco Group Holdings down minus 3%. Local index also closed down minus 1.26%, whilst Nictus, Oryx, Paratus and SBN Holdings maintained their value. Looking at commodities, Brent crude oil minus 0.1%, whilst gold, copper and platinum managed to be in the green. Now, after the break, news from the African continent starts us off in Madagascar, where polls for the presidential elections opened this morning. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to today's Sports Rep Show.
I am your host, Jesse Jackson Kauraika. In replay, Namibia, who had won the toss for the first time on this tour.
Good day everyone, time for international sports news, starting off with tennis news, both on the WTA for women's and
All right, let's get into the news stemming from the African continent. Polls opened today in Madagascar's presidential election, which is being boycotted by most opposition candidates. Now, this is over concerns about the vote's integrity. The Indian Ocean island nation is the leading global producer of vanilla, but one of the world's poorest countries, and has been shaken by successful political crises since independence from France in 1960. President Andry Rajoelina has brushed off criticism and expressed confidence that he will secure a re-election in the first round of voting. Following a nighttime curfew and weeks of protests, voting got calmly underway on Thursday morning, according to journalists, with polls set to close at 5 p.m. Since early October, the opposition grouping, which includes two former presidents, has led near daily, largely unauthorized protest marches in the capital. They have been regularly dispersed by police firing tear gas. Now, the outbreak of cholera in the central and northern regions of Mozambique has caused at least 150 deaths over the last 2 months. According to the government spokesperson, Deputy Justice Minister Philomao Suade, who was speaking on Tuesday in Maputo after a meeting of council ministers, the worst hit area in the central province of Zambezia. These are national figures from September to the present, said Suade. There have been a total of 36,930 diagnosed cases, causing 150 deaths. In the last 24 hours, the country has recorded 70 cases of cholera, 62 of whom have been hospitalized. And in the last 11 days, health authorities have reported 505 new cases. In the last rainy season, from November 2022 to May 2023, cholera affected over 30,000 people in Mozambique, and caused at least 141 deaths. This is according to their Ministry of Health. Stay with us as we head into international news. In international news, a specialist drill machine has been deployed to rescue 40 Indian workers who have been trapped in a tunnel for more than 4 days. It was flown from Delhi on Wednesday after attempts to drill through the debris using another machine failed. The machine will help drill a passage so that a pipe can be inserted through which the workers can crawl out. They have been stuck inside there since Sunday after a landslide caused a portion of the tunnel to collapse. Authorities told the BBC that they did not want to speculate on how long the task of clearing the debris might take, but they were expecting a positive development by Thursday evening. However, Federal Minister VK Singh told reporters that rescue operations could stretch on for another 2 or 3 days. The accident occurred on Sunday in the Himalayan state of Uttarakhand. A portion of the Silkaira tunnel, around 200 200 kilometers away from its opening, collapsed while the workers were inside. The mounds of debris cut off oxygen supply to the workers. The workers are trapped some 200 meters into the tunnel and are safe, though, officials said. Now, the U.S. Senate took the risk of an impending partial government shutdown off the table on Wednesday as it passed a stopgap spending bill and sent it to President Joe Biden to sign into law before the weekend deadline. The 87-11 vote marked the end of this year's third fiscal standoff in Congress that saw lawmakers bring Washington to the brink of defaulting on its more than $31 trillion in debt this spring, and twice within days of a partial shutdown that would have interrupted pay for about 4 million federal workers. The last near miss with a shutdown led to the October 3 ouster of Republican U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Kevin McCarthy that left the chamber of leaderless for 3 weeks. But lawmakers have bought themselves just a little more than 2 months breathing room. The Democratic majority Senate and the Republican-controlled House of Representatives' next deadline is January 19, just days after the Iowa caucuses signaled the start of the 2024 presidential campaign season. News from the world of sport follows us after the break.
Welcome to My.NA Cars, your ultimate destination for everything automotive.
I am your host, Diana Master. Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Discover the latest models, innovative technologies, and expert insights from our passionate hosts. Learn essential maintenance tips and get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the automotive industry. Don't miss My.NA Cars on NTV every Thursday at 2100 hours. Tune in and ignite your passion for automobiles.
All right, Equatorial Guinea and DR Congo were the only winners in Wednesday's list of Africa 2026 World Cup qualifiers, picking up victories against Namibia and Mauritania, respectively. In taking to Nuevo Estadio de Malabo, Equatorial Guinea hosted Namibia in their Group H encounter, picking up a narrow 1-0 victory in the process. In a tightly contested affair, Emilio Nsue's 67th minute strike was enough to separate the two teams on the day. We stick around with football as the Namibia Football Association announced Salome Iyambo, an ex-Brave Gladiators vice captain, as their new technical director. She currently works as a development officer for the Namibia Sports Commission. She will begin her official duties on the 1st of December. Cricket Namibia today announced the 15 Richelieu Eagles who will play in the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Africa Region qualifier from 22 to 30 November in Windhoek. Just going through some of the names: Gerard Erasmus is the captain, Zane Green, Michael van Lingen, Nicole Lofty-Eaton, Hilaoya France, Sean Fouché, Ben Shikongo, Tangeni Lungameni, Nico Davin, JJ Smith, Jan Freelank, JP Kotzer, David Vise, Bernard Schultz, and Malan Kruger make up the squad. Let's head into international sport after the break.
Neo Paints has established a 67-year Namibian legacy, creating personalized paint solutions that blend quality and innovation for the Namibian people. We pride ourselves in being a 100% Namibian-owned company, investing in our country and our people by employing and empowering true Namibians. With every brushstroke, Neo Paints commits to our quality guarantee and always delivering a coat of excellence. At Neo Paints, we always stay true to our country. We are as Namibian as you.
Themba Bavuma appeared to be winning his battle for fitness on the day before South Africa's World Cup semi-final against Australia at Eden Gardens, which is currently underway, with a series of fitness tests and stretching inducing no adverse reaction. The South African captain did not confirm his participation in the match, however, describing himself as quite confident, but obviously not 100% after tweaking his right hamstring in the early stages of the final group match, which was against Afghanistan on Saturday. Moving on to our next story, the light that was at the end of the tunnel in terms of returning cavalry for the beleaguered Hollywood Bets Sharks has turned out to be a bit of a mirage, with the confirmation that two key Springboks have been ruled out with relatively long-term injuries. Sharks head coach John Plumtree confirmed on Wednesday that Vincent Koch, who played as a substitute in 2 playoff games at the Rugby World Cup, has been ruled out for 3 months due to the knee injury that prevented him from playing in the Rugby World Cup final 2.5 weeks ago. Now, Formula One world champion Max Verstappen has blasted this weekend's Las Vegas Grand Prix as 99% sure and says he isn't looking forward to the race. The Red Bull 3-time world champion criticized the new street course and said Wednesday he had no interest in the razzmatazz around the event. If you're just joining us, this is NMH at 1, and we'll get into the highlights from today's broadcast right after this.
Welcome to What's Cooking, where culinary passion meets expert insights.
Somebody must really want to cook and want to cook good food.
Immerse yourself in the bustling world of professional kitchens as top chefs create mouth-watering dishes. Join us for in-depth interviews as our host explores the experiences and expertise of our guest chefs. Don't miss out. Tune in to What's Cooking on NTV every Friday at 2100 hours and let the culinary adventure begin.
Thank you for staying with NMH at 1 throughout this afternoon's broadcast. Here are your highlights. Polls opened today in Madagascar's presidential election, which is being boycotted by most opposition candidates. This is over concerns about the vote's integrity. A specialist drill machine has been deployed to rescue 40 Indian workers who have been trapped in a tunnel for more than 4 days. And Equatorial Guinea and DR Congo were the only winners in Wednesday's list of Africa 2026 World Cup qualifiers, picking up victories against Namibia and Mauritania. Those have been your highlights. Remember to tune in every weekday at 1 p.m. to spend your lunch hour with NMH at 1, catching up on the latest news in Namibia, Africa, and the world. Cheers.